it's Kay in front of the camera, and we've got Maggie at Hochanda, so it's just me on my own this time round. And I'm going to put together our square frame story album cover. Okay, so in the kit you get covers and a spine to make your album, and then we would recommend you put your spine in before you stick your cover to the front. So this is available on one of our other videos, and also there'll be full instructions in the kit as well. Okay, hopefully there'll be a link at the bottom of the screen when I put it on. Okay, so that's the front, and then the frame part consists of a plastic sheet, and this has got a protective covering on it. I'll take that off in a minute. You get a number of frames, so you have 4 frames exactly the same size, square ones, and then you have 1 frame which is marked with a 4 on it, and that is slightly bigger so that you get an indentation. So I'm going to put that towards camera so you can actually see. So that is where your plastic frame fits into, so you get a nice snug finish. Okay, so you put this piece to one side for one moment, and you take 3 of these. So you've got 1, 2, 3. Take 3 of these, and we stick them together. So just with a bit of PVA, and make sure that everything's square. So I'll just do that. So I'll probably end up stopping the video part way through just to make sure everything sticks together. So if you square it up, you get nice and square. And then put the glue on the bottom one. You can use binding glue or PVA for this, but the key bit is just to keep it as square as possible. So that'll go on top there, and then if you just put it to a flat surface, so that is nice and square. So you can see, oops, let's have a look. Look, that's it, there we go. Okay, so that's nice and square. Okay, and then when you're happy with that, then what I tend to do is put a few clips on it, and then just leave it to set just for a minute or two, just to make sure everything stays together. You don't want anything moving. So I've taken the clips off, and this is now stuck together. Now there's 2 ways of doing this. I'm going to show you how to do the covered version, so you can cover the frame on the inside with tape, or you can just go and paint it if you like. So if you get your 4th one, which is not the one with the number 4 on it, and you pen the same colour as your tape all the way around this edge here. So I'll just get a marker pen and I'll show you. Just mark that. Like that. If you can see that. So what you can do then, if you want to, if you don't want to use the tape, you can stick this together so you end up with your step like that, and then you can either use a very dry brush, paint, or you can just colour it in and with your marker pen. So if you don't want to actually do the taping bit, so you can get that effect. So when you put it down, you'll look like a dark frame on your album front. So if you don't want to use tape, then you don't have to. But I'm going to show you how to do the tape bit. Okay. So while I've got the pen out, I might as well I'll go around to this edge anyway. So I'll just mark this one. This is number 4 frame, and all I'm going to be doing, I've got black tape, so I'm using a black marker, and I'm just going to mark the inside of the frame here. When you put the cover on and the top cover on, probably won't be noticeable, but just to make sure you don't see any grey at all, you just mark it with a bit of black, just to make sure. Keeps it nice and dark. Okay, and we'll just leave that to one side. Okay. And then we'll come back and do the inside of this. Now to do the inside of this, you want your 30mm tape, and you're going to line the inside all the way round. Now you're going to get a corner here with which could effectively show a little bit of grey board. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to cut out little strips. I'm just going to put a little strip of tape across here, which will prevent any grey board showing. it's unlikely it shows, but it may. So it's better safe than sorry. So I'll just put a couple of strips, and then I'm going to put tape just across the corner. So just do all of those. Should have peeled these off. It's easy to peel these off afterwards. So if you're peeling your tape off, I prefer putting the fabric side towards me. Maggie does it the other way around, so it's entirely whichever suits you best, really. And that corner, let's do them across the side as well. Do all 4 corners the same. So it's quite strange not having Maggie here next to me. She's usually telling me what I haven't done right. I've forgotten something. Right, so I've done that. I'll show you, I've done that in the corner. Can you see that in the corner? There we go. Okay, and they're all 4 exactly the same. And then peel off your tape and start at one corner and work your way round. You just do this carefully all the way round, because it's very sticky and there's a lot of tape. So we just mark it round. Okay, so I tend to find it staying in one corner. So it sticks in like that, and then press that. Okay, so you've got it like that. And then just work all the way around till you get to the other corner. So work in. So when you get to the other, this end here, what you need to do is make sure you've got some tape pulled back, then get your bone folder and really push it right into that corner so it stays right into that corner. I'm just going to push it in, then I'll show you what I've done. So I'll just push right into that corner. There we go. So you should be able to see that it's right into that corner. Oops, there we go. Okay, like that. Okay, and then you follow that round and you do exactly the same for all your sides. So if you just do it one stage at one side at a time, and then peel off as you go. So nice and nice straight into the corner. Bring it round. That's it. It's a bit trickier as you get a bit more backing coming off into that corner. So just squidge that straight into that corner. And then same again, nice and straight, just make sure it's in there. Okay, and then you're going to get to this end here, and you're just going to make a little snip. Try not to cut it short if you can avoid doing that. Cut it a little bit longer than I need to, and I can trim it then. Move it out to one side, and then, so if you can see, I've just trimmed it. Oops, so I can't zoom in. That's it. There we go. So I'll zoom it in. So I'll just put that nice and straight. So you've got that all the way round the edge, like that. Okay, and then you're just going to snip along each side on both sides. Let's just get that right. There we go. So just along here on each side, I'm going to cut that on that side and on that side, and then I'm going to turn it over and burnish it. So let's do that. Turn around and do it on the other side. So it's just straight into the corner, just snip. Okay, and then what I tend to do, I find it a bit easier as my fingers. So I put it on flat on the floor, and I just push my fingers down and get a nice straight edge, okay, like that. And just work your way around, and then when it's all stuck down, give it a good burnish. and then give it a good burnish along the sides, top. I'll say if you don't want to do the tape, you can always use the marker pen method if you wanted to. Okay, so that's the underside, and that will be the top. Okay, so then you get your frame 4, which you had earlier, and you've already marked it on the inside on here with your marker pen, the same colour as your tape, and then you're going to stick that over the top and then pin it into place. So you end up with a little step like that, so that's your instep. So I'll just glue that, and we'll leave that to set for a few minutes. Again, so keep that as straight as you possibly can. So that's all nice and straight here. Okay, and then I'll just put a few clips just to keep it in place. This is now stuck down, and we're going to use our plastic cover. So it's got a protective covering on it, so if I just peel that off, you can see. Protective covering. Take this one off. And so I don't tend to throw this away. I'm going to put it back on in a minute, but if I take this off, okay, and that's the protective covering, so it's now a clear piece. So it's going to fit inside here, and just to keep it attached. So what I suggest is put a little bit of glossy accents or a clearer glue. You want a clear glue. You don't want a PVA. You want a clear glue. So what I do is a tiny bit on the end of a toothpick, and I'll just pin it in a few little places. If you're very neat, you can do a little thin bead all the way around, but I'm not that neat, so I'm just going to pin it in a couple of places because the frame itself will hold it in place. You just want to keep it in place. So you've got tack it in a few little places, and then you put your cover on like that. Okay, and then this is your final one. This is the one you didn't stick, so this is left over, and you stick that over the top. But before you do that, and while that is sticking, you need to cover the inside of this. And you do that exactly the same way as you did the 3 frames before. Okay, so if you've done what I've done, which I've cut it slightly too short, so you've just got a slight gap there, which is a bit annoying. So just peel this back, add another little piece. See what I'm doing? Very sticky. Into the corner and peel back just to cover that. Okay? plastic cover into our frame. We've covered this and we're going to stick this on the top, so you can see that everything's now will be encapsulated. So we'll just stick that together, and then again I tend to pin it or clip it into place until it's stuck. Now what you can do at this point is the covers that you had from your plastic cover that I saved, I'm just going to put back on, then it just protects the plastic a little bit. So just take those off and just put those on top. It just helps protect it a little bit more. So make sure it goes underneath. It goes over the top. So make sure that these bits on the facing outside, so you can't see any grey bits when it's together. Okay. And then I'm just going to clip it, make it all sure it's nice and level again, and then clip it into place. Oops. And that one. Okay, and that stays like that, and then I'll just put the cover on the side. Then I'll just know it's protected, and I can peel it off later another time. Extra protection. Okay, and we'll leave that to dry. Right, this frame is now stuck on. I've put the extra on here just to protect the plastic cover for a little while longer. And now we just need to cover the outside of the frame. I'm using the wider architrave for this, and just follow all the way around. And it's exactly the same as you were doing in the album covers. So that's the front of your frame. So to give you a bit more coverage at the front, if you stick it so you've got about 1/3 here and then 2/3 on this side, just stuck in the middle, and then just follow it through. Just work your way around. Okay, and if you just peel a little bit back as you go, it just makes life easier just to. And then when we get to this bit here, again, I'm going to cut it with a little bit of an overlap. Okay, so we put that down there, I'll just cut that straight across. And that one, oops, around the edge, around the corner, and that will go like that. Okay, so just use my fingers just to adhere it to. It's all nice and straight. Okay, and then like I did before, I was just going to pinch those in there so they're just square there like that, all the way around. Okay, and then you're going to do that one there, and then you're going to cut on your diagonal across like you did before. So you do it at about a 45-degree angle. Can we see that? That's about, I think we can see that. Okay, and that goes like that. So not to the corner, so you just leave a little bit of a gap there like that. Okay, and then we'll do that all the way around. So do the other 3 corners. This is why, if you keep the covers on there, that means that you don't get sticky fingerprints all over the plastic cover, or helps avoid that anyway. And just move that across like that. Okay, and then holding it one side like that, pull this back and pull this down, and then give a little bit of tension and push it down, and so it sticks like that. Okay, and I'll do that for all the corners. Pull down, a little bit of tension, and pull like that. And round again. Lift that back. Oops, pull that back, and then a little bit of tension down. So that little tag that you left there is just holding on, and it just pulls down with a little bit of tension, so it's nice and snug. And then push down again. Okay, and then gently, when I do, I manipulate it with my fingers and just push that like that, and we'll do some burnishing on that in a little while. Just push that down like that. So you can do it with your fingers and you can get a nice straight edge all the way around. Okay, and then just press that down with your fingers. And then this side is a lot easier, doing it exactly the same on the other side, but because you can leave that flat, it would be probably a bit easier to do it flat, but it is a lot easier now. One side is already stuck. And then we'll do some proper burnishing in a minute. So again, do the corners again, as you did before. These scissors are getting a little bit stuck, so I need a clean. Okay. Okay, going round. Just pinch the corners so you can see the corners. It's just nice and easy. And then just on the inside. Okay. And it's easier now because you can keep that flat, push these down and pull those up, and then do all four corners. And then I just push them with my fingers, and then I'm going to give it a good burnish in a sec. So it makes everything nice and square and sharp. There we go. Okay, there we get our tool. Give everything a really nice, good burnish. So this is the underside of the frame, and this is the top frame. And I've managed to cut most of this up. Oops, I'll squish that down. There we go. So I managed to cover most of that up. If you want to, when this is stuck on later, you can put a nice border frame around this to match your album. And we do have videos on how to do that. I think it's on the Monster book. Maggie shows you how to do cut a nice frame. I think it's page 11. Okay, so that's the top of that. So I'll take these covers off. Oops. Take these covers off. So that's now secure inside. Okay. All right. And then I suggest cut a 9 1/4 square of card, and then you can put your design or your whatever you want to put in your frame. So in this case I've got an archway. So I've just made an archway up. I haven't actually painted it, but I've done the archway up. So you would stick this on where you're happy with it, and then you would glue this to that. So then what you end up with is a secure frame, which is secure like that. And then that sticks on top of your album. So again, say you've made your album up, you've covered it, you've got your spine, and we would suggest you put this spine in before you stick your top album on. So basically all it does is you stick that on top of that. So what I tend to do is give it a little bit of a lift that up. This is all secure, or should be. And I've stuck it. I'm not stick it because I've not decorated it, so I don't want to stick it down. So you've got your base like that, and then you just stick on your frame, and then that gives you your album cover like that. So if I just hold that up, okay, so it's all nice and secure. So you that's your frame. Okay, and then you open your album up. Oops. Okay, that's your album like that. And then you can decorate it or put your pages in as you do it. Okay, and that's a square one.